G'day, how you going? Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my video here. This is where I teach beginners how to paint beautiful acrylic paintings. This one's going to be the type that would make someone go, that looks good on the wall, doesn't it? I like that. That's what this painting's going to be, a look good on the wall kind of painting. Now I've got it in a portrait layout, which means it's standing up, not a landscape layout. And the size is right there as well. Okay, there's not too many colours here, but we're going to be doing a bit of knifing, a bit of modelling and a bit of mixing, okay? And while the colours are going up the board there, you can pause it in the appropriate spot if you want to use the same colours I'm doing and write them down. And be sure, if you're a beginner, watch the video a few times just to see what's happened, where I went right and wrong, because sometimes I make mistakes as well. And you can work out, well, he did it that way, but I got my own way of doing things. I'm going to do that bit my way. So when it comes to that, you know what you're going to do. That's why it always pays to watch a tutorial a few times, all right? So come on over here. I've got a beautiful cup of coffee this morning. You know why? Because I don't mind a cuppa in the morning time here. So I'll get you over here and we'll get started, all right? Okay, now down on my palette, I'm going to start with craft white on its own. You can use sealing white if you don't have craft white. I just like this so as this paint isn't going on a dry, chalky, absorbing canvas, because I'm using canvas cloth here today. And I want to paint the whole canvas so as I can put a very light coloured, misty, far background colour. So the trees I put in front are going to pop. Now this is going to be like a 4 autumn colour type of subject painting, okay? So I just want to get all this craft paint onto my canvas. And it's quite thick and gluggy in places. I've spreaded it on everywhere. Now it's important to get your brush and just stroke it. I'm going to do it left and right, or you can even do this one up and down. Doesn't matter. Just to get all of the bumps out. I'll do it up and down because the trees are going to be long. This is going to be a nice tall long one on the wall. All right, now down here I've got my grey and raw sienna, and I'm mixing the grey gradually with some raw sienna because I just want that subtle autumn colour, or what you call it, 4 in the background. So it's pretty much a dirty grey, and the white on the board is going to tint it brighter a bit more as well, so that's okay. I don't think I've mixed enough, so what I'm going to do, I've got some, what do you call it? Impasto, okay? This is going to increase the volume of my paint, okay, without altering the colour. There's probably other uses for this, I don't know, I've never used it for anything else, but I use it for increasing the volume of my paint. If you don't have this stuff, well, just make sure you've mixed the right amount of paint. Now you watch that volume of paint increase just by that impasto there. Oh, look at that. See, I've increased the volume of that paint. Now I've just wiped my putter on a brush, and I'm going to pick this up and get it over all the canvas there. The paint that's on the canvas is still wet. Try and get the whole canvas in shot. Yeah, and then I'm going to crisscross this and get it into the canvas there. Now as I'm putting this on the brush, the paint's slowly getting pushed up the hairs there, so there's nothing on the tip, but watch when I do that. There's some more there. There it is. I'm using the tip to spread it around. I'm going to pick up more. Have you ever had paint on your brush? You think there's a bloody lot on there, but none's coming on the canvas. That's because you push the paint up here and you're only using what's on there, which is nothing, mate. So we'll get all this on for now. Just get it on all the way down. There's no horizon line in this one. Okay, I've got enough on that now. I'm kind of pushing it around. There we go. Now I want to stroke it up and down, and get it nicely blended with the tip of the brush. My putter on a brush is great for this. If you want this and some blending brushes, message me on Facebook. The links are down below and I'll send you some. All right, there we go. We've got our background done. Okay, that's the colour on the board, so I want that a tad darker now. We're going to come forward. So I'm just mixing up the grey and the raw sienna dark there. And I want to get a darker value of that in the grey there. This is just for a couple of background trees there. Okay, I think I've squirted some water there, yeah. Now, I've got a flat, I just want some kind of brush I can control a very tall but controlled shaped background tree, okay? So I'll get this on my brush. Now I've put some marks here where I want the trees to end, and this one here is roughly where I want this one. See the darkness of that? It's going to be the end one there, so I want this one about here, and it's going to sort of come up. So I'm going to dot my way up the painting with it, just so I sort of know where it's going. About there, that's the shape I wanted, okay? That was pretty easy. So I know how I'm going to do it. And now I'll just get this on there. I want the edges nice and sharp, so it doesn't have to be overly thick. I'm just going to follow these edges and make this kind of tree that's in the woods. Now I'm feeling, because it's breaking up, I'm needing some more water on the brush, so I'll give that a go. Now you might have to change brushes, whatever brush is going to work for you. And this is not too dark, but it's just dark enough to sit in front of that background colour we put on there, okay? Okay, just a little tip. Because I've stroked it on, see how I've worn the middle out? You keep wearing it down to the surface paint there. Just take your time, let it dry a bit, and I'm getting the brush and I'm just going across it now, like around the direction the trunk would be. Okay, before we finish with this colour, I want a liner brush. We'll get a bit of water on there. You want it inky enough, but not see-through, just to glide off that tree for some branches, okay? So make the tree the way you want. I'm just going to put some light detail-y, and we just want to get some, twist your little brush. You want these nice and sharp if you can, and just go into nothing like that. We just want lots. You can come fat off your trunk and then make it happen. Come down if you want. Let's fix that water. Come across your branches, please. Don't go all side on each other. See how this one went up and across and down. I want a lot of texture in this when I use the knife. I'm going to be doing a lot of, so I'll start in the trunk and then come out. I want a lot of texture in the foreground trees. Don't go too mad if you can help it. We'll come up here somewhere. This is all background stuff. A lot of this is probably going to be covered up, who knows. I'm just slowly coming down the tree, trying to get lots of little pieces off it, and then pushing this back down into the trunk. Now, just so you have a sense of knowing what's happening, this is the end of the painting. It's going to have a dark one just coming in front, but I want some of these lighter branches pickering through the background here, just adding that value of niceness, okay? So you can even put a branch there just sticking out, and probably put something on top of him there as well. Just all different. The trunks are going to finish here, so just to add a bit of value of worth to your painting, I'm going to put something maybe from the background coming up here on its own. Now I'm finished with that value. I've just got some more raw sienna dark, and I want to get that darker value again, and I will, for different value, put a spot of burnt umber in there as well, just to change the value of that brown there. We're going to come forward. So this is the second colour of the trees, and there'll be one more darker than that, and that's it. Get a little bit of that in there. There we go. So that's pretty much the value I want in the colour. Raw sienna dark, a bit of burnt umber, and that other colour we had mixed before. Now what I've done here, I've just placed at the bottom where I want these trunks to go. It's going to set that one back, and there's going to be a beautiful almighty front one here, okay? So same as I did before, I'll put this one here, and it's pretty much going to come all the way up all the way up, bit wiggly, and bend in there to the top. And I'll get the other one mapped in as well. So the other one can have maybe 2 trunks in it. So we're sitting this one in the background there. So this one's going to come up, maybe there, come all the way up. And I want to fork across that way, across the painting. And I want to give this one, well, let's not have too much thick blobs on your paint. And we'll get this one coming maybe forking off just up there like that. All right, and we've got another one here. So I'll map these in first, get this one all the way up, sort of coming that way, and he can have another main branch. Now these are long trees, the ones you get in autumn or fall. Now all we've got to do is thicken those up. So if anything, you want the top a little bit thinner than the bottom. Now see those lines I put there? I know exactly where I'm going. I'm going to pick up some more paint because I want this side of the tree nice and sharp, just like that, and come down here. Painted the other side off camera because I had to turn the canvas on its edge so I can get that side. Now I want to come down this side nice and sharp. Now it's about that fat, but I want to, if anything, increase the thickness of it just slightly as I get to the bottom. And with trees you can sort of put a bit of a thing like that in it, where a branch tried to come out but he just didn't branchulate itself into reality. He became a knot because he was not coming out. That's how knots are formed in trees, because it was a branch trying to come into reality and it could not make it, and that's how they got their word knot, because they were not able to succeed as a branch. Does that make sense? So now see here, I don't like that. What I would like to do there, if I can, is try to get this knot happened. So there, he's just there like that. Just looks a bit more pleasing there. Now I've just darkened that up off camera, got rid of any of the dull spots. I've got a bigger brush than the liner I had because I just want to get some other thicker trunks on these coming off before we use the liner again. And we do want to have just some, with my hand clean, it's always good to have some broken ones just come off as well, just like that. Coming up here maybe, just because we're going to have their big tree, but I want something about this fat in the middle of this, but I want something just coming up here, but so it makes sense to where it's going and coming from when the big tree's in front of it. So it's going to come here. Now we want to add, with the liner brush, lots of smaller branches again. And also what I want to try and create is in front of that tree, the very first one coming in front of that tree and jutting out, maybe behind that tree, who knows, in behind or in front, and out there, sinking it back. And see how that's skinny onto the trunk, fatten it back onto there. Same here, give it a heel it onto there. It looks more natural that way. Just still adding on, give it a heel coming out and there, and then this branch is going to come out from there, sinking that tree back. I'm just going to be caught up doing quite a lot of this for a bit, so the camera will be going on and off, just so as you're not so bored with it all. I like to get some coming out and then just go back to the tree, it's behind it somewhere, and then you can come off that. Make things interesting. Change these branch patterns up so they don't look like a flat hand or a fan or a curtain just laying against the back of your painting, you know. Something out here more, a bit thicker. See, I'm having trouble. You might as well. We'll see how we go. Because I'm inking the paint down, sometimes if I do it too much it's going see-through-y. So see this big blob here, let's make use of that. Let's get another one all the way up here and come through there and out here. Bring another one off there, cross that one, we can go back into the tree even. Come here. Then you can put a few forks in it here and there. Don't do it all forky, see how I've crossed them? I have to zoom back so far. We can still go on with that, but for now, that's those trees. Now I want to put the big main character right in the front here. Now the main character, I want to do him, I got some burnt umber there. I'll try and see which one I like, either the yellow oxide or the raw sienna. I'm just making this up as it goes, but I want that kind of tree colour there, so bit of luck I can make it. I've just sprayed water on all that, so if I've got to go back to it, it's there. I want to block in the tree. Okay, let's have a bit of fun here. I'm just going to try the knife for now. I do have some water there, so I'll just scratch it in first to where I want it to go with the dark colour. Then we can lighten it up. So I want my tree to come up. It's going to have a branch there. So it's important to give it that heel, like I said, and we'll come off here. Now you can either use a knife or a brush for this, and then this has got to pretty much go all the way up to there. He's going to be about that fat, so I'll come into the, that's the edge of my tree there, see, with the knife's making. I'm not worried about what's happening in the middle. I go too fat, Ian. And then where that heel is, I want to kind of buckle out there a bit as well, and then bring it up. At the top, I want it about there somewhere. And this tree is going to be very barky and structured. And let's use the knife and come straight down to that point where me so-called heel is in the tree. Now I've pretty much got to just knife all this in, and once it's knifed in, I'll give it a bit of a dry, and then just fine detail it where you want the shapes to be. If it's too thick or thin in some places, fix it up, level it up. I've got paint on my finger. This is just the undercolour. Okay. Now I've knifed it on pretty much where I want it. I'm going to get the brush. I could have done the whole thing with the brush if I wanted to. I'm going to even out the blocking in area. There's a lot of knifed paint on here, so I'm going to start off with a smooth surface before I start sculpturing it and structuring it. So I've got that brush and I've just pulled all that paint down, and it's got big thick lines in it like bark has. Okay, I've got more paint on the brush. Now I want this branch here, I'll start from in the tree, but it's going to come from this point, okay? And I want it to sort of come around here like that, like that, like that, like that. So it's, this will be the thickness of it, okay? Like that. And he's going to, so I've just dotted that on, and we'll fix that heel up appropriately if we need to. So now I want to just carefully get that edge nice and tight the way I want it. Bring it to the thickness that I want it. And we'll muck around with this so all that see-through paint's gone, okay? Because this is just the base colour. We're going to knife on some different values. See here, I've got to get this base a little bit fatter and get this heel this coming out a bit fatter to there, boom, and then that heel can come out there. There we go. Now I'm just going to solid all that up, and what I'd like to do is put another knot maybe about here. Just didn't quite make it, you know. It is not a branch, it's just a knot. See, like there. Good, huh? All right, I've got all that coloured in. I just want a couple of branches off to the other side, and I want to put the fore colour in before we put the bark, because the bark is in the front. So we got one branch coming up here, right off the painting there, boom. And we'll get another one maybe here, coming right, just crossing over all those colours there, breaking them up. Okay, now let's put a couple of, these are sort of behind there if anything, but you want to kind of get that heel on there, just so it doesn't look like a weird stick coming out of something like a grade 5 did it. Okay, I've got to wet the brush a bit, just so as that can happen. Now you don't have to put these in. If you remember, whatever tutorial you're following and you're so far up to your procedure, and if they're changing it and you're going, whoa, ease up, let's get to the back of the bus and have a rest for a minute. I don't really want to do that. Well, you don't have to. You're welcome to, but you don't have to. Just sit at the back of the bus and relax. When we were young, we used to sit at the back of the bus because we thought that was where all the cool kids sat. Anyway, just want to show you something a little bit different as well. When you're doing like trunks or big branches of a tree, don't just do them in a line. No lines in nature. See, I'm darkening this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to out there a bit, come down, maybe come here a bit, come back out here, boom. And that just adds, I'll solid that edge in, and you can see what I mean. It's just more of an artistic, pleasing branch to look at instead of a weird straight line. Okay, look at that. Okay, I'm just adding all these darker values here. Getting some, all these are behind and on there, because this main big fat trunk that I put in there, that's going to have some real textured bark on it. Get a heel on that and get things coming up and crossing. Okay, see there? Cross it over. Don't just do forks everywhere. Cross it over. There we go. And see the darker values in front of the light ones, they just set everything backwards and forwards from each other, I suppose. I'll get something more here, something coming off the edge there, had a mark there, so I'll cover it up. I do have over here, see here, I'll just make out like there's another skinnier tree behind and some kind of branch coming across there, because I had a mistake mark there. There we go. All right, now just here I want to build up the foundation for the slight autumn or fall coloured leaves starting to grow on this tree, and they're going to come from a couple of branches. So I'm going to put these on first. Now, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but just before I put the leaves on here, what I've deliberately done on this one here, I've put some thick bits. You know when leaves on trees are ready to start blossoming again? They've got these little bulbs, swollen bits, which shoot out. They're all little shoots ready to come into leaves. So I've just gone and put, see here and there where all the nodes are, I've just gone and put things where leaves are ready to spring out into action here and there. Just on this branch here, because that's the one that's going to flourish with orange. Now we're just about finished it. I've dried it. Now we've got to put things back and forth as we come forward. Now we're up to this stage. This bit here is just going to have some fall leaves growing on it. So I've got to put them on first before I put this branch and that trunk in front of it. I don't want to do that now and try and fiddly these bits in there. So we have some Australian sienna, and I've got Indian yellow, or you can have a red gold or an orangey colour. So pretty much over here I've even got that raw sienna and the yellow oxide, just some autumn colours. Now this is probably going to be the hardest bit, finding the brush that you're happy with. Now we've got our four colours here. Find the darkest one, which I say is this one. I'll grab a little bit of burnt umber and just put with that, because you want the darker colours down first, so we can highlight it with all the other stuff. And if we need to add a little bit of white on these colours when we add them, we can. So I'm just going to use this as the base colour. I'm just got a small filbert flat brush, and I want to work out where I want my leaves. I don't want it very see-through though, I want it quite solid. So hopefully this brush will work for me. I'll pick up some of the one without the burnt umber in it. Don't overdo it. You're going to go over this colour when we dry it. So we've got some stuff here. Getting a few peaks there I'm not happy with. I'm not worried if I go over the trunk area because the trunk's going to come back and sit it back. This, don't do too much of this, less is best. We're going to just have a subtle hint of all these leaves there, okay? Growing on their nodes or their little shoots or whatever. Some here, like that. A nice flourishing bit there. Something on here. And where are we? We've got this one here. We'll come out to about there. Get them quite solid. There we go. In front of that tree there. Over that branch as well. Don't just put them to the side of the branch. Put them in front, some like that, okay? And that's it. So I've dried that reasonable. I'm going to pick up the Australian sienna. Let's add a little bit of white first and see if it's going to... Oh, look at that. Oh, it's just turned it into gold. Oh, look at that. Might not need that Indian yellow. And I want to place some leaves using the darks to create the front and backs of them, okay? That white on there is beautiful. I'm going to slowly add that. I'm not mixing it, I'm letting it just stay marbly. So I'll put a back one on like that. Oh, here's one here that'll overlap that one, just like that. How's that looking? That's okay. That's me fall leaves. Leaving some of the darker colours there. Working from the back to the front, so the front ones are going to overlap any back ones that are there, see? Now we'll dry that. Now I've got the Indian yellow. I will put some beautiful titanium white there. Let's see what this does to the Indian yellow. Okay. We don't want to mix it up, we just want it oh, look at that, even more of a, oh, that's just making you come all the way home, isn't it, eh? Look at that, I love it. Let's get on that back of that bus and go all the way home. Now don't have it thick and gluggy on your brush like that because you can't control it. Wipe the darn thing, okay? And let's put what you can control on your brush, okay? I've dried what's up here, let's see if this is going to hurt or enhance it. Let me have a look. Not too bad. I don't want it too white yellow. I want it deep yellow like that. And actually, I'm stabbing that on and it's leaving quite a textured, leave that darker colour there of the two you've put before, the Australian sienna and the red gold, I mean the burnt umber, whatever it was. And this is adding texture there, that's nice. Nice leafy textures. You're leaving the darks under there. Just hit them once. Don't muck with it. If you muck with it, in the rule to all paintings, if you muck with it too much, it's going to turn to snot. Boom, 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 boom. How's that looking? Okay, not bad, but I do feel it's a little bit yellow, so I'm going to go back to that Australian sienna, and my goodness, I put so much there. I want to, oh yeah, let's get some of this. Just to kill a lot of that yellow. So have a look. How's that going? Oh, it's nice orangey gold bits here. Just let me look in the monitor there. I just want to kill some of that too much yellow, you know. You want gold. Bold gold. I might call this golden fall. We don't call it fall in Australia, we call it autumn. I I'm just hoping. I might have to get some of the dark branch colours and feather through a bit if it's too much like it's sitting on top of all those little twigs there. There we go. So we'll probably just join a few up like this, see? Come from there and up to it. Come from far away, over here, in front of that one, and over to there and there, okay? And you can come past them with a node on it, ready for another one to grow. So yeah, I'd like to sort of maybe see where that's it, and we'll put something there, and maybe nodding out there like that. And that's just, it's kind of sinking these back a bit, you know. There we go, we can join that one up. There. Everything here is dry. This is the fun bit and the end bit. We've got the skinnier branch up there and we've got the dark one. So I want to grab just some of this colour here and some white. Now it doesn't have to be mixed fully I mean. I want a bit of dark on one side. I just want to kind of lay, if I can, some tree colours within there. Just on this one to set it back a bit, so mainly from that edge there, and I want to, I'll get the other side of the knife. I'll come up here. Okay, that's done. Now it looks a bit knifey. You want it to look knifey, but what I want to do is I'm going to wipe that, pick up some of the white, doesn't matter if it's dirty. Hopefully it's not going to be too white, and smear into that paint there. There we go. Pulling back some of the burnt umber, just to sink that back in to the trunk, as the trunk is dry, but we want to get, there we go. Where they meet, and it's going to merge and blend, and then we can put the main trunk in front. Now you probably didn't have to or want to do this, it's up to you, but a lot of that is very bright. We need that dark colour just to sit it down. There we go. I'm going to wipe the knife and just come around now. We've got lights and darks and all sorts in there. And I'm pretty much following the shape of the branch, see? Boom, boom. That's it. So we got the raw sienna dark and the bit of yellow oxide there. I want to mix this up. And now what I want to do, I want to get some of this with the burnt umber, because our tree's burnt umber, so I want to slowly come brighter, okay? And I want to make some real heavy textured bark if I can. So what I want to do is put this onto the tree like that. There you go, we've got the brown this to this. Okay, so let's get that onto our knife, real thick. And what I want to do is I want to pretty much get that edge nice and sharp again, but careful. Now see here, build it up onto your tree. I want this to be bold, thick, demanding and beautiful. Thick, textured, up and down like this. Come to the other side if you need to, but don't go past your, leave a lot of the burnt umber there as well, the base. Oh, this is just magic. So what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve, I'm mixing some more of that with the burnt umber. What we're trying to achieve is up and down knives textured, like leaving the burnt umber still,
block that branch off because that's coming from behind.
Let's hope.
We'll leave a bit of a darkness there.
That's it.
I think we're going to just have enough. Now see, I'm going up and down with stippled texture
Bits for now.
Oh wow, really gobbling up the paint when you knife it on. But this is going to be fun. Stipple that, you want it stippled, but keep it up and down. Why I want it up and down? I'm going to show you why.
Now wipe your knife, and every pass we want to wipe out some, just like this. Get some horizontal lines in that texture you got there. Wipe it, so if you're coming off the side of the tree, you're not going to hurt it. I'm coming across, see? Coming across, wipe it, coming across. Getting all these horizontal lines in that texture bark we just put on there. Now back to this raw sienna and the yellow. Now I've given that textured tree a light dry,
and we want to sort of come across now and kiss all that textured stuff just like this. Now you might have to come back,
play over, load your knife up some more.
And it's breaking across all that textured surface. Oh, look at that. Keep it
Nice and sharp.
against that edge there. Set that knotted branch back as well, there. Coming along here.
Keeping it in the way of the tree.
Right, you don't want big thick blobs like that on there. You want this all broken up. So we can come back with, it's a matter of going backwards and forwards, but I want this tree textured as buggery. I'm coming up and down again now. Just work out what's working for you. I don't do much knife stuff, but when I do, I sort of get excited. And
so now I've got the burn umber, and the left side of the trunk, if anything, I want darker, just so as we can get a beautiful artistic, there we go, look at that. Come into that side of the tree, boom, that's it. Boom. Try not to get knife sections in there if you can help it. I'm setting the knife right on there, it's right on there, and I'm just going to lift off and pull and let it dance across there. But if anything, I want that left side of the trunk darker than the other side. It's just the way I want it. There we go. Some can be darker than others. It's just a painting. Are we up there? Yes. Let's try something up here. Wow. There we go. That's what I wanted. That's good. Okay, now that bit we put the white in, we'll get a bit more of it. Don't want it too white, but you just want it highlighted enough just to go onto the right side of that trunk and kiss some highlights on there. What a really easy does it. Oh yeah. Let the texture make itself up. That's nice. Come down here some. Oh, this is nice and thick. I don't want knife edges there, so I want to try and marry them in as natural as I can. Wow. Reminds me of the head of an elephant trunk. Wow. I've got a little bit of quinacridone magenta there into that Australian sienna because I'm feeling it's a bit too yellowy. It needs more orangey, rich colours in there. I'm feeling it hasn't got what I was going for quite. I just did a test there to see if it's, because I want this right against there.
That's it. I'll try and make it look as natural as possible. Okay, let's whack a frame on that and see how it looks. There we go, it's not too shabby. We've got an autumn 4 tree just coming into blossom. Is that right or wrong? Coming into blossom? Yeah, or just hanging in there ready to drop. Anyway, and we've got some distance there, a very long, tall painting. And just remember, you can do that. It doesn't look too bad in the frame, does it, eh? It's looking all right. Anyway, look at my links in the description below. Become a patron of mine. I would like to thank my patrons who support me every month. Check out what paintings I have available. Message me on Facebook if you ever want to purchase a painting or a print or my blending brushes. Message me on Facebook. All the links are below in my cupboard. Check out my cupboard. It's always good to see what's in there, eh? And just remember to tell your friends if you like what I'm doing. But if you don't like what I'm doing, you tell everybody. Goodbye, good luck. Bend me knees and say good on ya.